オールマイティは未来を改変する力だ。
まだ全然使いこなせちゃいねえけどな。
さあ。
Alright guys, so today we're gonna have an interesting discussion video about ad revenues. So back in June 2020, Caleb decided to introduce rewarded video ads into Bleach Brave Souls. That's a strategic move to not charge more onto the users, but instead be able to have more revenues overall while leveraging the user base. So basically, like free-to-play players will also be able to contribute to revenues overall thanks to these rewarded video ads. So this is a very strategic move, and the way it works is usually you would be this is how it works. So you would have some content in the game. You would have some content in the game, and then at some point you would have a prompt to view an ad. This ad, you have to watch it for a certain period of time before you can then close it. And once you have watched it for that period of time, you have the close button appearing at the top somewhere here. There you go. You click it, it closes the app, and boom, you get your reward. So this is how reward video ads work in general. And this type of ads are the most lucrative for businesses. Basically, they generate the most money. This is why this is stated here. So out of all the types of mobile video ads, rewarded video ads is the highest for app developers. Basically, it generates more money. But the question is, right, it generates more money, but the question is how much? Because, whenever a business develops a new feature for the game, well, this costs a lot of money. So it has to go through careful planning and estimations to make sure that, it is worth it. So another game by Caleb, Captain Tsubasa, already had ads before, and it's been a good way for Caleb to measure the impact of such ads in terms of the overall revenues of the game. So when Caleb decided to introduce video ads into Bleach Brave Souls, they had done their market research, they've done the math, and it did sound like a good business opportunity for them. And the question is, how much of a good business opportunity it is for them? And what is the percentage? So how much do ad revenues account for when it comes to total revenues for Caleb? Well, some of you will be interested in understanding what goes into those calculations, so all the math and all the explanation, but some of you just want the TLDR version, so the short version. And let me just give it to you so you don't have to waste your time otherwise. So basically, net ad revenues percentage versus total net revenues is about 10.32%. So basically, anyone watching ad revenues right now in Bleach Brave Souls, overall, we all contribute up to 10% of the overall revenues of the game. So that's quite big, to be honest. So without putting any money into the game, by just watching ads, right now, everyone is contributing to roughly 10.32% of the overall net revenues. So this is only for the US region. And well, if you're interested in how I've come up with this number, it is very interesting. Well, do stick for a little bit because we're going to go into details in terms of how I got to this number. So yeah, that's it. Let's go for this. By the way, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and let's go. So first of all, the first place to start is Sensor Tower, which is an app intelligence platform. There's a bunch of them. There's App Annie, Apptopia, and so on. And this kind of platforms measure all the app analytics around the world for all the apps on iOS and Android. It covers data from revenues to active users, downloads, and so on across different markets and across the various platforms. So there's this, but there's also this information that I got from Penny Chu, who's using another platform than Sensor Tower, and that platform is called App Annie. And I really like that one better. And basically, this is where I got my numbers to have the estimations for total average revenue per month. So I had done another video, and I highly encourage you to watch it in terms of how much money does Caleb make. And that was more about 2019, before they added more revenue streams like the new step-up formats and the transcendence system that have really bumped revenues by about 25-30% overall compared to what it was in 2019. So total average revenues per month in the US region alone is about $1.1 million. And then thing is, this is what revenues are generated on the stores. But then the vendor needs to pay the VAT based on the country where the sale has been completed. So since we're talking about US region, the tax is at 10%, so that's 10% of this amount. And then of the net amount, the store, Apple or Google will take a 30% commission. So at the end of the day, the vendor, the developer, only gets 63% right off the bat from the total revenues generated on the App Store and Play Store. So that leaves us, this is what's called net proceeds, and this leaves us with $700K US in terms of net proceeds per month. Now, active users. So as you can see here, we do have an estimation of active users around 70K mark. So I've used that as well. I've put 70,000 users for active users, because the idea is like every single day that you log in and watch videos, this is going to add up to the revenues. Next, the question was, what is the market share for iOS and Android in the US? So in June 2020, 58.17% were using iOS and 41.65% were using Android. So this is the figure that's been reflected right here. Then the question is, what is the cost of those ads per mille? So this is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. So the idea is, for every 1,000 ads viewed, video rewarded ad viewed, the vendor is going to get a certain amount of money. And this amount of money depends also on the platform, iOS and Android, as well as the country, which is why we've focused on the US alone. And what we've estimated the ratio iOS to Android. The next question is, what is the ad vendor that Khool is using? So if you look at the fine print in the privacy policy, you will find out that in the US region, Khool is partnering with Facebook to display the ads. In other countries, they're using other app vendors, but in the US, it's mainly Facebook, Google, and Twitter ads that are the partners and the list. So basically, the next step is to understand what are the eCPMs/revenues on average of those platforms. And I've taken Facebook here as an example. So for 1,000 ad viewed on Android, that's $12 generated for Khool and $16 for iOS users. But obviously these are revenues, it's not net. So you have to take the taxes off as well, which I have down in the calculation right there. Then the question is, okay, so what is the iOS ad revenue per ad viewed per day based on the average users, the active users, the daily active users? And the answer is $651 on iOS and $349 on Android. These are the average revenues generated for the whole user base in the US region per day per ad viewed. Then the question was, all right, but how many ads do people view on average per day? So for that, I created a poll on this on YouTube. Here it is, and so far we've had 800 and almost 900 replies. So this is going to evolve, and I'm going to update the calculations as well. But we've had like 24% that don't watch any ads. The reasons could be not enough value for you to watch an ad or other reasons, all the way to 7 to 8 ads a day. So this is the split that we've seen here. And on average, the final figure is 2.655 ads viewed per user per day on average on Bleach Play Souls. So if you add all this up, the total net ad revenues, and I'm an emphasis on net ad revenues per month, is about $80,000, so close to $81,000, compared to the 700K net proceeds per month. That's roughly 10.32% net ad revenues versus total net revenues. So free-to-play players like you don't have to spend money in the game to support a company. And right now, people viewing ads are generating 10% of the total revenues. Also, one more thing I want to add about this, which is spending money on the game or viewing ads. Yes, it does support the company in one way, shape, or form, but watching ads or spending money on Bleach pesos doesn't mean that you are actively supporting every decision the company is making. It just means that you find some kind of value in watching an ad or spending some money, like the beginner's pack or the Bonanza Pass, and you do it because you enjoy Bleach as a franchise and not necessarily KLab as a franchise. This basically, so it's a bit like, you know, someone who's eating meat and someone else saying, like, you know, like, because you eat meat, you're supporting like slaughterhouses. And the answer is no. Like, someone eating meat doesn't necessarily support this, and on the contrary, they most likely condemn this. But it's just that maybe they enjoy the taste of meat, and that's why they eat meat. So same thing here. Maybe you watch ads or spend money in the game because you enjoy Bleach and the characters in Bleach, not necessarily because you support the decision of the company. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share the video because I think it's a useful video. And obviously, I will see you next time. Tschüss!